Robert, thank you for choosing Swing Surgeon Online Skills Coach. My name's Dave Seeman, and I'm a Level 3 instructor for the Peak Performance Golf Schools. And it was a pleasure talking to you last night. I did get the video converted, and as you can see, you're up there on the screen. And you are definitely not as old as I fathomed here. You got to send me some information on what kind of handicap you are, but from your golf swing, I can tell you can hit it, and you're probably a single-digit handicap, and love to see it. I had a chance to look at the whole swing from front and back, and really, I think the biggest thing here, and one of our favorite phrases, Robert, is for the Peak Performance Golf Schools, is the setup determines the motion. And the only issues I really got with your revolve around setup, and I think by changing your ball position, I think we're gonna do some really good things. I'm gonna draw some lines here, and I'll be right back with you. Drew a line up from the ball, Robert, and also put a box around your head. And you have the flared out knees. I can tell you've been doing your research. You know what you're talking about, and you know what you're doing. But the ball position, in my opinion, is maybe an inch to 2 inches too far forward with the width of the stance that you have. I like the boat or the flared out feet. I mean, you got everything perfect here. The thing that I'm going to show you from this side is basically if we move the ball position back, all good athletes have a tendency to want to get behind the ball a little bit. And the biggest issue that you have is, without a doubt, as I start to play this swing here, you're going to see that line goes right through your left hip. Now I want you to see how much your left shoulder and your left hip slide. So you set up with a great spine tilt, but because your hips slide to the right, I mean your left knee stays at home, but your hip doesn't. And your hips like to move laterally. And you can see your head moved a little bit outside the box. You make a wonderful transition, but you have to really transition hard. And if you don't time this right, you can see your head starting to go forward because of the forward ball position. If you don't time this right, you're going to have a tendency to hit some pulls, snap hooks, maybe even some flares. And I have a feeling that might be happening a little bit with you. But all in all, I mean, you're so close to nailing it here. I mean, you really have good balance. You get onto that outside of the left foot. Good tee finish, looking at the target over your right forearm or your right tricep. So things are really looking good, but I would like to see you experiment with two things really here. I'd like to see you try a little bit narrower stance with your heels, and or moving your ball position back about an inch or two. But we got to keep the left hip at home. We got to create a little bit of restriction and tension there. I'm going to bring up Don real quick, and I will show you the differences here. Now here's Don on the right, Robert, and I mean your setups are very, very similar. However, his ball position is back a little bit more. I drew that straight yellow line up, and it definitely hits him more around his left heel. Yours is more in your left instep. So, I mean, we're only talking maybe an inch or two to work on there a little bit. But I want you to see the differences as he starts. We'll click here, and we got him synced up here. I want you to notice how his left side stays on that. I mean, especially his left hip and left knee stay on that line. And you can see that you have come off your line probably 3 to 4 inches with your hips, so you're definitely sliding. But all together, and because of that slide, you get that golf club a little bit more parallel to the ground. He's still a little bit more at 45 degrees past vertical. So I think if we can build in a little restriction with the hips there, I think we're gonna be on our way to a better consistent golf swing. But I mean, you really mirrored Don very, very well. All right, we're going to take you to your back view. Okay, Robert, here we are with both you and Don's backswing, or back view. And the line down from Don's right hip really kind of bisects him right in his right ankle. You have a tendency to be a little bit more towards your heels, and studying your back view, there's no question that you are a little bit on your heels. One of the things I would do in your setup here is get your feet a little bit further away. And what I want you to feel is that you pull your belt buckle in towards the ball a little bit, and it gets your weight a little bit more on your arches. I think this will help you stabilize yourself a little bit more in the backswing. But as we play this through on both swings, I want you to see again, I mean, you take the club away really, really nice, but here you start to get it a little bit flat, a little bit in the sacred burial ground. And you can see here as you go up that your head goes more towards the ball, and because of this, your weight's a little bit in your left side here. And we saw it from the front view, your spine angle, you lose your spine angle just a little bit, but the sliding of the hips is the real issue. But I think from the back view, I like your plane. A good player will have a tendency like you do right here to drop it in. But I want you to notice I drew some lines along your foot line and a parallel line which should be your target line, and I have a sneaking suspicion your target line is a little bit left of that. So your tendency is to aim right, and you'll see here after impact that the ball starts left pretty quick. So I think you're fighting snap hooks and pulls and maybe an occasional flare out to right field. But I do want you to see that your finish, you have a great balanced tee finish just like Don does. But again, I want to show you that as we take you back here to the beginning, and the reason I know you're on your heels a little bit is that your first motion, as you start to slide your hips, you'll see your head go towards the ball here and your left shoulder goes down. And that's because of the slide of the hips. Your right hip is higher here than your left hip, and your weight's starting to go towards your toes a little bit, especially your front foot. So, in a nutshell, I love your golf swing. I think that your setup is where we need to work on a little bit. The ball position definitely needs to come back a little bit. I would experiment with an inch, maybe 2 inches at the most. I can also tell that in your setup here because your shoulders tend to be aiming more down, I think, your intended target line, and your feet are a little bit right. So put some sticks down, some alignment aids, and work on that a little bit. I'm going to attach a little drill, which is a swing the stick drill. I think will help you a lot from a standpoint of really feeling the golf club swing vertically after impact. I think you're real close, but you have a tendency to swing a little bit left. And again, it's because of your hip position sliding in the backswing, and you have so much to catch up. But I hope this is very helpful. I want you to stay with me. It was a pleasure talking to you the other night, and I apologize for any problems that we had with getting this back to you at a timely manner. But I hope you enjoyed it, and stay in touch with me, Robert, and look forward to hopefully seeing you sometime at a school or a function with the Peak Performance Golf School. So it's Coach Dave signing out.